Recording in progress.
Good morning. Good morning. It's good to see you all here. My name is Beth Norton, and I serve as the Director of Music Ministry here at First Parish in Concord, and I welcome you this morning. First Parish is a member of the Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations, and love lies at the center of our faith. We covenant to transform and grow spiritually and ethically as we adapt to a changing world. With humility and reverence, we acknowledge our place in the great web of life. In this congregation, we affirm that Black lives matter, and we embrace our differences and commonalities in love, curiosity, and respect. We are so glad that you have joined us for worship this morning. If you're visiting in person, we invite you to stop by the welcome table after the service and say hello. If you're visiting us online this morning, welcome. And let's all turn to the back camera and just give a wave to our Zoom participants. Good morning. It's my pleasure and privilege to introduce two ministers to you this morning. Our guest preacher today is the Reverend Mark Glovlin. Mark, yes, welcome him. Mark served the First Universalist Church in Rockland, Maine for 14 years, leaving in August 2019 to hospice his mother. He graduated from the Star King School for Ministry in 2003 after receiving a call to ministry while attending Clark University, where he majored in philosophy. Born and raised right here in Massachusetts, Mark learned lessons early in life about the painful blessings as a die-hard Red Sox fan, a lesson many of us have shared. We feel ya. I'm also delighted to introduce the Reverend Elizabeth Ide. Elizabeth joins us this week as our acting minister for congregational care, filling in for us while the Reverend Liz Weber is on medical leave, and we can't have too many Elizabeths on staff, can we? Elizabeth believes in the healing power of companionship and has worked in both hospital and congregational ministry before becoming part of our community here at First Parish. She lives in Salem, Massachusetts with her partner Greg and an assortment of plants and animals. I hope you'll take time to greet both Mark and Elizabeth after the service. And a couple of quick announcements now. The Welcoming Walls initiative of First Parish has made considerable progress, and next Sunday, March 24th, there will be a forum here in the sanctuary at 11:45 a.m. about plans to make our parish hall and parlor more welcoming. And is there a table to go to at coffee hour to ask questions? They'll make one, okay? See Cindy Soul if you have, but anyway, you can maybe talk to Cindy at coffee hour too. Following our service today, we have the worship sharing circle, which is down the stairs here, or down in the elevator here to the Brooks room, which is right at the bottom of the stairs. It's a green room. And that is a time to dive deeper into what worship meant for you today. And you can attend in person or you can attend on Zoom. If you have questions about First Parish, our standing committee rep today is Lisa Bennett, who's right there. I'm pointing. And do please join us for coffee hour in the parish hall downstairs, again, through these doors or out the back and underneath the sanctuary. And if you need any help with anything, assisted listening devices, play packets for kids, or directions to the restrooms, see our ushers at the back. And now, let us begin worship with a hymn. I invite you to rise with me and sing number 315, This Old World.
Thanks for singing with me, and thanks for joining us in worship this morning. One of the things I miss most about serving full-time in a congregation is singing with people 3 or 4 times a month. So thanks for indulging me. This Old World is one of my all-time favorite hymns. So as I go around, I just kind of play the greatest hits. Thank you for joining me today. We are here as citizens of the universe, here to worship wholeheartedly, to bring our redeeming sense of awe into the difficult days of this modern age as both solace and encouragement. And so we begin this celebration with joy, living our lives with purpose and gratitude, moved by the beauty of the world and claiming justice for all those who live upon it. We open our hearts to greater loving, healthier knowledge, deeper compassion, and hope of peace. And with the kindling of this flame, let us reaffirm our commitment to receive our gifts with grace and gratitude, and to use them to bless the world in the spirit of love. Now join me in our unison words of affirmation.
Mark, it's so good to have you here.
Thanks, Amy.
For those of you who do not know who I am, I'm the Reverend Amy Friedman. I serve as the Religious Education Director here. And what is that you brought today?
Yes, so the other thing I get to do often, because I am somewhat of an itinerant preacher, is I get to break out the clown gear. Most places I go. And so I brought one of my toys today, and it's too bad I'm not leading worship on May 4th, because what this does is remind me of the Force, because what I want to show you is that, among other things, we are batteries. So. You could call it electricity, you could call it energy, you could call it the Force. There is something moving through us, something charged.
Did you turn on a switch?
I am the switch, Amy.
You are the switch? Well, you know I want to play with it.
Right. So now the cool thing is I'm a battery, but the even cooler thing is that together we are batteries.
I'm a battery too.
So if you hold one side,
Okay.
and I hold one side.
And we're getting feedback, so we must have energy.
Now if we hold hands.
Pretty cool.
So what I would like to do this morning is to show us the energy that moves with us and through us in the congregation. So I would like to, in this space, I think we're probably looking at an ellipse more than a circle, but I would love to get as many of us as possible to make a ring around the sanctuary, joining hands, and to see if we can light this thing up together. So I want you all to
Sure. Yes.
so I want us to feel invited. If you either
I don't know. She
don't
said, yeah,
love
people
human
between
touch
us,
this
I don't
morning,
know.
or
We'll
you're
see.
feeling
We'll see what
sensitive
happens. I
about
don't know.
germs, please know. Okay, and
I
so
think
what
they're ready. Look at this.
This is great.
But we have to connect all the way around. So connect. That's the important thing.
Yeah, and we have to connect all the way around and hold hands, and we'll see. Oh, you can. Okay, ready? Oh, make sure we're all holding hands. Is there a ring? We need like a complete circuit. Wow.
Someone's not
I
connected.
think there's a gap right over there. There we go. Right.
So let's do a test. I'm going to let go here. Okay, you ready?
So what I would want you all to know is there is an energy that moves with us and through us, but it requires all of us to take part. all of us to touch, all of us to show up moment to moment together. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Right, that'd be great.
As you're finding your way to your seats, I just want to thank Mark for that wonderful demonstration. What did you call that thing again?
I think it's an energy stick.
He calls it an energy stick. But I think it's an important reminder that especially with all the things that are going on in our lives and in the life of this community, that the link between each one of us is essential. And so thank you so much. And the new people who join us are essential too. I mean, Elizabeth and Mark, so glad to have you with us today. So I'm going to let you know what's happening in religious education. If you have any preschoolers, Little RE has already begun down in the Mill Dam space. You're welcome to head down there now if you wish. And today we also have 8th grade OWL, which has already begun. I see some of our RE guides are already migrating forward, and I'd like to invite our kindergarten through 3rd graders who are doing World of Wonder to come forward. Our Jubilee kids will be joining Anderson and myself, and Crossing Paths is meeting today with Ken and Carol. And let us all join together in song.
Good morning, First Parish. The generosity of this congregation extends far beyond these walls in so many ways. My friends joining us on Zoom know about some of those ways. We know you. We know that you're here with us. And some other ways. One way we express our gratitude for the connections and the contributions of our members is to share the plate with an organization that they support. This month, we share the plate with the Bike Connector, which is a volunteer-run nonprofit in Lowell that fixes up donated bicycles and makes them available to neighbors in Lowell who cannot afford them. Recipients are given helmets and training in repairing and maintaining their bikes. Like some of you, I have recently learned about this wonderful organization, and I am just so in awe of Bike Connector. Caring for our earth by repurposing bicycles, empowering our friends to make new journeys, and reminding us that there are so many ways that good things move us. Today, we get to help grow that good. This important ministry thrives with contributions from people like us. We appreciate your generous gifts this morning as we accept the offerings for the work of this community, both within and beyond the walls. Thank you for what you are willing to share.
Our reading this morning is The Mending Wall by Robert Frost. Something there is that doesn't love a wall, that sends the frozen ground swell under it and spills the upper boulders in the sun and makes gaps even two can pass abreast. The work of hunters is another thing. I have come after them and made repair, where they have left not one stone on a stone, but they would have the rabbit out of hiding to please the yelping dogs. The gaps, I mean. No one has seen them made or heard them made, but at spring mending time, we find them there. I let my neighbor know beyond the hill, and on a day we meet to talk and walk the line and set the wall between us once again. We keep the wall between us as we go to each the boulders that have fallen to each. And some are loaves, and some so nearly balls we have to use a spell to make them balance. Stay where you are until our backs are turned. We wear our fingers rough with handling them. Oh, just another kind of outdoor game. One on a side, it comes to little more. There where it is, we do not need the wall. He is all pine, and I am apple orchard. My apple trees will never get across and eat the cones under his pines, I tell him. He only says, good fences make good neighbors. The spring is the mischief in me, and I wonder if I could put a notion in his head. Why do they make good neighbors? Isn't it where there are cows? But here, there are no cows. Before I built a wall, I'd ask to know what I was walling in or walling out, and to whom I was like to give offense. Something there is that doesn't love a wall, that wants it down. I could say elves to him, but it's not elves exactly, and I'd rather he said it for himself. I see him there bringing a stone grasped firmly by the top in each hand like an old stone savage armed. He moves in darkness, as it seems to me, not of woods only and the shade of trees. He will not go behind his father saying, and he likes having thought of it so well. He says again, good fences make good neighbors. And who is my neighbor? And who is my neighbor? It was a sweltering July afternoon. I drove from Amherst, New Hampshire, where we were hanging out with my partner Melissa's family, to Derry. And there we were going to visit the farm where the poet Robert Frost lived with his family. The modest white farmhouse fronting Route 28 about 2 miles outside of Derry. It was bequeathed to Frost by his paternal grandfather, and it appears much as it did when they moved into it in the fall of 1900. I was treated to an after-hours tour of the house by an accommodating park ranger. We talked as he locked up, and then I accompanied him out into the gravel parking lot. And just before he left, he pointed toward the woods and suggested that I take a look around, noting that the grounds were open until sunset. And with the whole place to myself and guided by a small pamphlet, I made my way down through the pasture, across Hyla Brook, and into the surrounding forest. Not far into the woods, the pamphlet offered information about a long wall made of sizable stones, still standing, though in a state of disrepair. This was it. The very structure that, along with a quote from Henry David Thoreau, inspired one of Frost's most famous and enduring poems, Mending Wall. He writes of the day that he and his neighbor meet to walk the line and set the wall between us once again. We keep the wall between us as we go to each the boulders that have fallen to each. And though Frost has his misgivings, it is in the annual process of rebuilding this stone wall, dividing their respective properties, that Frost's neighbor utters and then repeats that familiar line. Good fences make good neighbors. Good fences make good neighbors. And who is my neighbor? I remember a January day in 1994, climbing a parched rocky hillside in northern Israel. Spread below us to the east was the complex border separating Israel from Jordan. And on the Israeli side, there's a wide expanse of open ground that's regularly swept smooth so as to show any footprints. And then an elaborate fence in between no person's land, and then another elaborate fence on the Jordanian side. It too bordered by a wide expanse swept smooth. And as we stood and looked out, photographing this surreal sight, a Jordanian Jeep approached on the other side. It stopped, and 2 uniformed occupants began shouting over to us, gesturing wildly. And our guide explained, they're telling you no photos. As fences go, it'd be hard to find a better one than that. But it didn't then, and still doesn't now, seem to make for very good neighbors. And who is my neighbor? And of course, there's the fence along the southern border of the United States. That fence which has become a symbol and touchstone for the deep polarity in this country. A fence that seems to divide Americans as much as it divides those United States from Mexico. That fence which was at the heart of the, and it's shocking to say this, the more moderate Gang of Eight bill. The last serious attempt at bipartisan border legislation that demanded $1.5 billion for the southern border fencing strategy. That wall, which was at the heart of a presidential campaign and a movement. that fence too does not seem to be making very good neighbors. And who is my neighbor? That very question prompts one of Jesus' better-known tales, the one about the so-called Good Samaritan. Taken at face value, it sounds like a nice moralizing story told by that loving Jesus that we can all admire. A person's in trouble, someone stops to help, try to be like that. What's not to like? But consider this commentary by Edwina Hunter, who is a professor at New York's Union Theological Seminary. And she said, that first audience you can believe was very much upset. Shocked would not be too strong a word. Repulsed may not be too strong a word. They were shocked because they and the Samaritans hated and despised each other. Hunter asks, so what does this parable have to say to us? We can hear that only if we translate it very personally. Whom do you despise? Fear? Hate so much that you hate even to speak their name? Or take it further. Jesus said that the Samaritan actually touched the man who had been left for dead. He touched one who for him and his was untouchable. Hunter continues, what is Jesus saying? He's saying that we will never understand who our neighbor is, who that one is who we are to love as ourselves until we are able to touch the untouchable one and speak the unspeakable name. By whom would I least like to be helped? Indebted to? Only then can we really understand what Jesus was saying and what he was calling us to. And who is my neighbor? Now, for now still, at least, the very heart of our liberal religion is this claim. We affirm and promote respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. Ultimately, to be is to be not independent, but interdependent. There's no way to truly separate myself. There's no way off that train or that blue boat. There's no place to go. There's no way to live off of that grid. It includes all of us. Any illusion of separateness, of division, is just that, an illusion. Now, some have suggested that religion's role is to help us define our group, our clan, our tribe, who us is. Well, if that is true, our religion offers a tough answer for us to live up to and into. We say there's only us. There are no thems. What an enormous claim we are making. And what an incredible challenge to which we are calling ourselves. Interdependence forces us to ask the question of the common good, because in the end, it's the only good that there is. Citizen, non-citizen, documented, undocumented, differences with no ultimate distinction, since we are all part of the same web. Loving straight couples, loving gay couples, loving thruples, those supporting reproductive justice, those opposing it, all part of the same web. Hawks and doves, urban, suburban, rural, red states, blue states, Red Sox fans, Yankees fans, all part of the same web. Anyone here struggle with that? Anyone here ever think, why should we listen to what the fill in the blank? The fundamentalists, the undocumented immigrants, the radical right-wingers, the loopy left-wingers, the NAACP, the NRA, those with a prison record, those with little education or sophistication, anti-vaxxers. Why should we listen to them? Anyone here ever think, well, to be more honest, anyone else here ever think that if we could just get rid of the climate change deniers, social media influencers, believers or Swifties, tech bros, the irresponsible poor, the hateful homophobes, the biased bigots, if we could just get rid of them, we'd all be so much better off. Interdependence stands in judgment on all of our subgroupings. Religion, region, ideology, citizenship, species even. Interdependence stands in judgment on all fences. Interdependence declares love your neighbor and then insists that we're all neighbors. And who is my neighbor? Robert Frost decided, before I built a wall, I'd ask to know what I was walling in or walling out, and to whom I was like to give offense. Something there is that doesn't love a wall, that wants it down. May it be so. Amen.
Each week, we gather to share and learn together. As part of our care as a community, we receive the milestones and sacred moments that you all share with us, both virtually and here in person, as we reach toward one another with open hearts and caring minds. This morning, we hold in prayer the Hammer and McRae family, including Brian Hammer, whose father, Jack Hammer, was recently hospitalized and is now recovering at home. May Brian Hammer and Malika McRae know the warmth of a supportive community during a difficult season, as we remember Malika McRae's father, who passed away this January. And in this sacred time, I invite you to say aloud the names of those that you are holding today in the space that you are in, or type them in the chat.
All the people of Ukraine and Gaza.
And Sudan.
We acknowledge and hold in our hearts all of the prayers spoken and unspoken among us. We hold in our hearts all of those who have yet to find a community of care in which to share their joys and sorrows. May they find peace. May they find love. Our prayer this morning is adapted from the words of Anne Mason. I invite you to join me in prayer. Spirit of life, your very presence among us is what gives us connection. Help us to sense that beneath our bodies is the strength we need to keep us grounded. Help us to feel that behind our back is the protection we need to feel safe facing our fears. Help us to know that before us lies the beauty we seek to feel astounded. Help us to lift our senses high enough to be aware of the vastness of our sky and of our spirit. And help us to know that within our hearts lies the love we need to complete the circle of connection in our lives. We are grateful, Spirit of love, for this day. May we use all these gifts, our bodies, our backs, our senses, our minds, and our hearts, to bring more love into this hurting world, this world which we so value, which we cherish. Amen. love to invite Elena D'Amico to please come forward to share with us today.
Good morning. My name is Elena D'Amico. I'm a junior at Minuteman High School studying veterinary science. As someone who has grown up in this church, I'd like to talk to you about what First Parish means to me. I've been a part of this community since 2014 when I was only 6. There are many ways to participate here, regardless of your age, and this community made it easy for me to get involved and try new things. I attended the religious exploration program from 2nd grade through coming of age. Thanks to Amy, Don, and volunteers, I learned about faiths, other cultures, and UU principles. These are part of who I am. I don't just recite them, I try to live them. I joined the Chalice Choir in 4th grade. Gail made it a lot of fun, and I learned that I like to sing. I've stayed through Chalice and Gospel Choir, and we even get to sing with the adult choir. Gail, Anderson, and Beth encourage, challenge, and believe in me. Each rehearsal is filled with music, humor, and care. They crack jokes to make us laugh and just have fun. Several years ago, this community put on a musical called Grub's Place. You made it easy for me to be a part of it as a baby ant, and I discovered that I liked performing so much. I was a mama bear for a 6th grade play here at First Parish. But the best part, Grub's Place was an intergenerational production. I got to meet so many people of all ages. I created many friendships, and I love seeing all of you every Sunday. These connections mean more to me than any of you can imagine. One of the many reasons I come to church is to see all of you, talk to you, and just catch up. I also met my 2 best friends here. Emma, Liza, and I are sisters for life. We've been there for each other during the good, the bad, and the ugly. School friends will come and go, but First Parish friends are everlasting. During the pandemic, it was hard to not feel isolated. Amy and Dawn created a new group, the Junior Youth Group, and kept us connected with Zoom calls and outside events where we could be together, but 6 feet apart. It was a safe space to connect and share joys and concerns and fears. This was a huge help to me and my parents. Thank you, Dawn. First Parish taught me the importance of giving back in whatever way I can. Now that I've graduated from RE, I'm here taking care of our youngest members in Little RE. I love taking care of the little children. I haven't just created special bonds with the adults here, I have also connected with the littles. I am also grateful for the guidance and love this family has given me through the many ups and downs these past years. Last year, I really struggled with my mental health in the sense that I felt I wasn't good enough, that I was alone. So many of you, Amy, Dawn, Anderson, and Beth, to name a few, made me feel that I belonged here and that this was, is, and always will be my home. I truly feel noticed, understood, and appreciated here. Here at First Parish, we talk about pledging our time, talent, and treasure. This is the treasure part. As you reflect on what this community means to you, please think of what I've shared today. Everything I've shared, the opportunities for growth and self-discovery, your support, acceptance, and connections. All of this is possible due to your financial support and helps make stories like mine possible. Thank you.
These are words from Alberto Blanco. My tribe. Earth is the same. Sky another. Sky is the same. Earth another. From lake to lake, forest to forest. Which tribe is mine, I ask myself. Where's my place? Perhaps I belong to the tribe of those who have none, or to the black sheep tribe, or to a tribe whose ancestors come from the future, the tribe on the horizon. But if I have to belong to some tribe, make it a large tribe. Make it a strong tribe, one in which nobody is left out, in which everybody, for once and for all, has a God-given place. I'm not talking about a human tribe. I'm not talking about a planetary tribe. I'm not even talking about a universal one. I'm talking about a tribe you can't talk about. A tribe that's always been, but whose existence must yet be proven. A tribe that's always been, but whose existence we can prove right now. Let's try to make that tribe together. Let's join together in singing one last time, and we can rise in body or spirit. We're going to sing hymn 1064, Blue Boat Home, in the Teal hymnal. please join me in saying our words of benediction. Go out into the world in peace. Have courage. Hold on to what is good. Return to no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering. Honor all beings.
What a wonderful sharing by Elena.
Yeah, yeah, really nice. She's such a sweet kid.
Mm.
I was